Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today is Bookmas day 5. It's actually the 9th of December today, but since I'm uploading every alternate day, this is gonna be my 5th upload in the Bookmas series. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having too much fun making these videos. It is a bit hectic, but it's actually pushing me to create more content and come up with more creative ideas, be more creative, and I'm loving it. Having said that, welcome to Bookmas Day 5. It's been such a roller coaster. Honestly, week 1 of December has flown by. All my plans of reading have gone down the drain because I have not got a single second to myself. In between all the filming and editing and all of my other work that I'm doing, I am getting 0 seconds to myself. But I think this week that's gonna change. I'm gonna be reading a lot of Christmas novellas and Christmas holiday short stories over this week, and I'm very excited to get into that. I have to admit I still haven't finished The Night in the Moth, and honestly I'm not giving myself a hard time about it because right now if I can sleep 6 hours a night, I'll count that as a win. But I'm really gonna try and finish that one today because I have a lot of other reading to do. I have a lot of books to finish before this year ends, so we'll just take it as it goes. Today's video is going to be about my 2026 most anticipated fantasy book releases. Please bear in mind, these are my most anticipated releases. You may have different anticipated releases, or you may be looking forward to other books as well. But this is overall, like in general, the books that I'm kind of excited for 2026. Now, some of these are part of a series which I may have or haven't read, but this is depending on books that genuinely excite me. Obviously, I'm sure as the year comes around and we go deeper into 2026, there will be other books which catch my attention. But as of now, these are the books that I am really looking forward to in 2026. And this is the fantasy edition. Starting off with the beginning of 2026, January, I don't really have any fantasy book that I'm looking forward to. There are different genres that I'm looking forward to, but I think fantasy, as of now, there's nothing that is coming out that is exciting to me. So we're gonna move on to February. And in Feb, we have 2 books that I want to talk about. The first one is called Cindervale by Caroline Peckham and Susan Volante. They're the Twisted Sisters, and this is the 3rd book in the Sins of the Zodiac series. I have talked about the Zodiac Academy by the Twisted Sisters so much, I don't think that really needs an introduction on this channel. But I will say that I love that series. That series definitely has my heart. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I genuinely really enjoyed that series. That series has some of my favorite tropes. It has an academic setting, it has a lot of different kinds of romances, it has a bully romance, it has enemies to lovers, it has found family, it has forced proximity. So all the things that I love, and that series really, like, I read the series in the beginning of 2025 and I loved it. So I think they've written another series in the same sort of world. It's the world of Solaria, but it's different from Zodiac Academy. It's called Sins of the Zodiac. The first 2 books in the series, Echo, Fort and Never Keep, are already out. They came out in 2025, or probably, yeah, one of them came out in 24-25. I'm not too sure, please don't quote me on that. But the 3rd book is releasing in February and it's called Cindervale. And I am so excited. I have not read Echo, Fort or Never Keep, but I am planning to read that before the 3rd book comes out. That's 100% I'm going to be doing that. So I'm really looking forward to that book. I honestly have no idea what the series is about also. This is an enemies to lovers romantasy series set in the same world as Zodiac Academy, but it's a dark and villainous tale of its own. You haven't met tainted souls like these before, enemies that hate each other as deeply as these characters do. I'm already loving it. I think I've read that there is no link to Zodiac Academy, but they're set in the same world, I think. I'm gonna read the blurb of the first book because obviously I'm not gonna read what Cindervale's about. I don't want to spoil anything for myself. So the first book is Never Keep by the Twisted Sisters. It's the first book in Sins of the Zodiac dark fantasy romance series by authors Caroline Peckham and Susan Vellante, the Twisted Sisters, set in the same world as their popular Zodiac Academy, focusing on enemies to lovers, strong heroines, love that, morally grey love interests, love that, and intense action within a magical war college called Never Keep. Fans of Zodiac Academy love it, but it stands alone, offering a grittier, villain-focused story with complex characters and big cliffhangers, building on the author's signature spice and drama. A little bit about the book. The dragons are lost, the elements are at war. Enlisting isn't optional, and I'm falling for a man who wants me dead. I'm a wielder of hearts and summoner of corruption, heir to nothing and born to a fool in the wrong damn month. But I'm also one of the only two fae in this divided land of Hellions who might be starting to see through the lies we've swallowed for so long. In the year we turn 21, conscripts from across the warring nations of air, fire, earth and water are sent to Never Keep, the only place in our besieged continent where our magic can be awakened. But something is wrong inside Never Keep, something which might extend far beyond the reaches of this desolate fortress. Within the gothic walls of this frigid castle in the snow, we're left to hold our own against the brutal fae from the opposing lands. The reapers are merciless, the royals are lying, the werewolves run rampant, and vampires roam the wastelands in bloodthirsty covens. But even though death lurks in every shadow of the keep, it's the least of my worries. I'm delving into secrets the stars don't want me uncovering, making alliances with fae born to be my enemy, falling for a sinner while promising my heart to a different heathen, and somewhere amidst it all, I'm supposed to win a war. I thought the only thing I had to do was survive my magical instruction. Turns out fate doesn't favor the wicked. Nice! Very, very excited for this one. And I'm hoping to... No, I have to read the first two books in the series. There's no hope. I just have to do it. I just have to find the time and do it. So next book that I want to talk about, which is releasing in Feb of 2026, is called Half City by Kate Golden. Honestly, I know nothing about the author. I haven't heard anything about the book before, but I loved the synopsis. I was looking through some releases that were going to come out in 2026, and this cover and synopsis both caught my eye, and I love a story like this. So I'm just going to read it out to you guys. It's the first book in the series Harker Academy. It's called Half City by Kate Golden. Welcome to Harker Academy for Deviant Defense. Keep your daggers sharp and your wits even sharper. Viv Abbott is an average 21-year-old girl. She lives in an expensive city where the rent is too high, works long hours at a thankless job, and is dating a guy she doesn't even like in the hopes of winning her prickly mother's approval. She just also happens to be a demon hunter. Ever since her father's murder, she's been forced to hunt deviants alone, meaning everyone, including her family, sees her as an outsider. Until the day she crosses paths with a dangerously alluring demon, Reed Graveheart. The reformed deviant tells her of a school for people just like her, Harker Academy for Deviant Defense. If she enrolls, she'll learn to hone her craft, work with other hunters, and never be alone again. But Viv has a deadly secret, one that not even her new friends at Harker can know about, not when the school might hold the answers to untangling the mystery surrounding Viv's father's death. When strange occurrences begin to plague the students, Viv will have to figure out who she can trust and fast, all while trying to ace her classes, not fall for a demon, and make it through her first year at Harker in one piece. How hard could that be? Sounds so good. Again, it has like found family vibes. It's got, I think, an enemies to lovers vibe. Sounds like it. Looks like it's got a badass FMC, and as I said, that's one of my favorite things ever to read in a book. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and I think this one comes out on the 17th of Feb. So I'm definitely going to be looking out for this one. So that was it for Feb, and for the month of March, I have a couple of books that I want to talk about. The first book that I want to talk about for the month of March is The Wings That Bind by Briar Bolin. It's the third book in the Blood Wing Academy series, and again, I have not read the first two books. I know nothing about the first two books. I've just heard little snippets of it in social media, but they've always been on my list. Like, they have always been on my extended TBR. I've always thought that I will pick them up sometime or the other. They've always interested me, so I'm definitely interested in part 3 of this series. So the first book in the series is called On Wings of Blood The second one is The Bond That Burns, and the third one, which is coming out in March of 2026, is called The Wings That Bind. I'm going to read out the description of the first book because, again, I don't want to spoil anything for myself. On Wings of Blood. I didn't sign up for this. A half-fae in a school of high-blood vampires. That's a recipe for torment. I'm Medra Pendragon, last of the dragon riders, or so they tell me. Funny thing is, there are no dragons left, not a single one, but somehow that hasn't stopped the vampires from deciding I'm worth capturing. Now I'm stuck at Bloodwing Academy, where the high bloods run everything, and Blightborn, like me, we're just blood in their veins, pawn in their games. But that's not even the worst part. Enter Drake Harrow, cold, arrogant, and way too generous for his own good. He's been tormenting me since the moment we met, and now thanks to some ancient ritual, we're betrothed. He acts like he owns me, but I'm not going down without a fight. Bloodwing isn't just a school, it's a battlefield. High bloods fight for power, and if you're weak, you're dead. Between deadly competitions lies that could get me executed, and a dragon-shaped secret looming over my head. All I have to do is survive. Easy, right? Except I'm starting to think the real danger isn't the academy, it's what I'm becoming in this twisted game of power. And Blake, he might just be the one who pushes me over the edge. They think they can control me, they think they can use me, but they have no idea what they've awakened. On Wings of Blood is a dark academia fantasy romance, great, featuring a bully villain with Draco Malfoy energy, love that, who eventually gets the girl. All the tension and banter and a tantalizingly dangerous blend of court and school intrigue, all set in an intricately carved world with unique vampire and dragon lore. Love that. I love an academia setting. I love dragons. I love vampires. Bloodwing Academy may have crossover characters from the world of Blood of a Fae, but can be read completely independently. Interesting. See, this is exactly my type of a fantasy book. It has a school setting, it has bully romances, as they said, Draco Malfoy energy. I love that. I love Draco Malfoy. I just love that setting where, you know, the FMC or the MMC is at a school setting. They're learning their powers, they're discovering their powers, and everything is fast-paced. There's a romance subplot, there's a bigger plot in the picture. That's completely like my kind of a book. So I'm definitely very excited for this one. This is also coming out in March. So this one comes out on the 10th of March. And I am very excited. The second book in March that I want to talk about is called Inamorata by Ava Reid. It's coming out on the 17th of March, and honestly, what drew me to this book was the cover. The cover is so beautiful. I don't know if you can see anything, I'm going to put it up here. It looks gorgeous. I've heard of Ava Reid. I've heard of people loving her books. I think there's this book called In the Study of Drowning or something like that. And I've heard people like really loved it. I haven't read any other books by this author. This one is going to be my first. But I'm definitely very excited for this release. It looks like a very gothic, atmospheric sort of vibe, and I am obsessed. Last year I read Anathema, and I loved that book. I think it gives me the same vibe, that gothic, dark, mysterious sort of a vibe, and I love it. That's why I am waiting for this release. So I'm just going to read a little bit about the book. A visionary and atmospheric gothic fantasy about necromancy, vengeance, and a soul-consuming love. The first in a duology from the #1 New York Times bestselling author of A Study in Drowning and Lady Macbeth. Once there was an island where the dead walked the earth, and 7 noble houses ruled by the arcane secrets of necromancy. A conqueror's blade brought them low, burning their libraries, killing their lords, and extinguishing their eldritch magic. But defiant against the new order stands the House of Teeth and its last living members, beautiful Morosia, the heiress to the house, and her cousin, the uncanny Lady Agnes. Though she has not spoken a word in 7 years, Agnes is the true carrier of the house's legacy. And she has her orders. She must recapture the secrets of death magic and avenge her family's fallen honor. She must arrange the betrothal of her beloved cousin Morosia to Liuprand, heir to the Conqueror's throne, for access to the forbidden library in his grotesquely grand castle. Revenge burns in Agnes' heart, but so do stranger passions, and it is Liuprand, the Golden Prince, who speaks to her soul. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing this correct, but it is what it is. This passion is as treasonous as it is powerful, poisoning the kingdom's roots and threatening to tear the already shattered realm in two. For Agnes's final order is the gravest. She must not fall in love. See, it sounds so interesting. A little bit different to what I kind of like to read, but sounds amazing. Very gothic, very dark, very mysterious. It's got necromancers. Um, Loving the atmosphere that this is creating. So definitely going to be checking this out in March. Okay, the third book that I'm excited about, which is coming out in March of 2026, is called Starside by Alex Astor. Again, I have not read any other books by Alex Astor. I think there's a series for which the last book just came out. Lightlark, yeah, Lightlark, Skyshade, Night Pain, Crown Tide. I think this is the... Okay, so Lightlark series is gonna have 5 main books. So I think the 4th one, called Crown Tide, just released in 2025, end of 2025. And they are all over social media. This entire series, people have been loving, people are obsessed. The series was highly anticipated. I haven't read it yet. I am planning to, maybe before March, maybe before reading Starside. But yes, the same author is coming out with an independent book. It's called Starside, and it's coming out on the 24th of March, if I believe. Yes, 24th of March. And this is her first adult romantasy, apparently. Enter the world of Starside, where swords wield magic and power is not inherited but claimed. Hundreds of years ago, a brutal war split a land in two. Starside is the realm of magic and mortals, the descendants of the gods, living in a power-rich paradise. Stormside is where mortals fight for scraps of that magic. Every 50 years, the gates between them open and 50 challengers are allowed to journey across Starside on a deadly quest to access a pool of magic that can heal, grant wealth, or extend life. Everyone has their reasons for entering, but Ares has only vengeance. As a child, a goddess set fire to her village, killing her family. Ares isn't the gods' magic, she's going to kill them. First, she must survive the culling, the king's deadly competition to choose his 50 challengers. An orphan blacksmith's apprentice, Ares doesn't have the superior weapons of the heirs from the great houses. But the greatest swords, ones that contain power, are not inherited or bought, they are claimed by both sides. And when Ares claims a great sword, it makes her not just a real competitor, but a target. Getting past the gates is only the beginning. Starside is deadlier than it seems. The ancient creatures, magic-wielding beasts, and bloodthirsty immortals weren't dangerous enough. A new peril has even mortals fearing what rises from the grounds at night. With a blade most would kill to claim, Ares can't trust anyone, especially not Harlan Draker, the merciless and mysterious king's guard who betrayed her years ago and who may now be the key to her survival. But Ares is riding a secret tied to her family's death, and when it's revealed, not even the gods will be able to stop what's coming. Sounds good enough, sounds interesting enough. I mean, there are a lot of mixed reviews for this book, but still, I'm still looking forward to it. The cover is really pretty, and I'm not going to judge based on some reviews. I'm going to read this for myself in March, and then I'm going to tell you how I feel about this book. Coming to April of 2026, there are 2 releases that I want to mainly talk about. And the first one is the sequel to A Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry, and it's called The Rites of the Starling. I talked about Shield of Sparrows in my book haul video. I recently bought that book and I've heard so much about it all over Instagram. Like, a lot of people love that book and I really wanted to read it. I'm hopefully going to try and finish that book end of this month. Yeah, end of this month, because book 2 comes out in April and I'm very much excited to read that on time. 2026 is all about reading releases when they come out and not reading them 1 to 2 years later. I'm not going to procrastinate on my reading. I'm definitely going to be catching up now, as much as I can, obviously. But yeah, that's going to be the aim for 2026. The cover for this one is also so pretty. I did talk about Shield of Sparrows in my book haul vlog, so I don't think I'm going to be talking about much about it, as again, I don't really know much about that world. It says it's a slow burn, high stakes romantasy perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, where enemies become lovers, monsters stalk a cursed realm. That's all I know. I don't want to read up anything else on it right now. I'm just going to go in blind and see how I like it. But yes, I'm definitely looking forward to book number 2, which is expected in April. It's expected on the 7th of April in 2026. Moving on, the second book that I want to talk about, which is releasing in April, is The Ballad of Falling Dragons by Sarah A. Parker. This is the second book in the series. I think the first one is When the Moon Hatched. I have it here, but I haven't read it. This is the first book in the series. I think the series is called Moonfall. And this series has also become so famous. So many people have talked about it. A lot of my friends have read it and they've loved it. So I have to read it. I bought it to read it, but honestly, I've not got the time. I have so much to read and so much to catch up on. But let's just read the back of the first book. She's an assassin on the run. Reeve's job is to complete orders and never get caught until a rival assassin devastates her world and she's captured by a group of powerful fae. He's a dragon rider who'll stop at nothing to save her, of course. Crushed by the loss of his great love, Khan Vega hunts, I hope that's how you pronounce it, hunts the world for answers. Then a clue lures him to the captain's high-security prison where he finds Reeve. Together they'll burn it all down. Now they seek truths that threaten to shatter everything they knew about their world and each other. This #1 best-selling global phenomena will transport you into a world filled with magic, dragons, and love that blazes through the ages. Sounds good enough. I'm very excited. Oh my god! The maps in these books really do something to me. Like, I get so excited thinking about reading about a new world, and I love it. I love the dedication. It says, for those who feel small and quiet, spread those wings and roar. How sweet. Okay, that's why the second book in this series is called The Ballad of Ballad of Falling Dragons. It comes out on the 28th of April. And again, I'm not going to read much about it because I haven't read the first book, but I'm definitely very, very, very excited for it, and we're going to watch out for it together. So May is a heavy release month. I'm going to be talking about 4 books that I'm looking forward to, which will release in the month of May of 2026. The first one comes out on the 5th of May, and it's called Fury Bound by Sable Sorensen. I've spoken about this book a lot. It's the sequel to Diabound by Sable Sorensen, which I'm supposed to read this month again. Please wish me luck and hope that I'm able to get through all these books. But the series is called The Wolves of Ruin, and this is going to be the second book in the series, and it comes out on the 5th of May. Again, I don't know much about these books except that it's like a cross between Fourth Wing but with dire wolves. So it's got like an academy, magic, training, wolves. So sounds very exciting. What's not to love? So that's going to be my first release that I'm looking forward to in the month of May. The second book that I'm looking forward to in the month of May, it's called Broken Dove by Dani Francis. That's coming out on the 12th of May. The sequel to this book called Silver Elite by Dani Francis. Again, this I should be ashamed of myself because I bought this almost towards the beginning of 2025, and I was supposed to read it and I haven't. But this was, people loved this. Some people loved it, some people hated it. They said it's very much like Fourth Wing. So I don't know. I don't know what to feel about it because I haven't read anything about it. I haven't even read the back. I haven't even read the blurb. I don't know anything about it. So we're going to do that right now. In the first book of a sizzling dystopian romance series, psychic gifts are a death sentence and there are rules to survival. Trust no one. Wren Darlington has spent her whole life in hiding, honing her abilities and aiding the uprising in small ways. On the continent, being modified means certain death, and Wren is one of the most powerful mods in existence. When one careless mistake places her in the hands of the enemy and she's forced to join the most elite training program, she's finally handed the perfect opportunity to strike a devastating blow from inside their ranks. Lie to everyone, but training for Silver Block can be deadly, especially when you're harboring dangerous secrets and living in close quarters with people who want you dead. And whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. As the stakes grow ever higher, Wren must prove herself to Silver Block, but that's easier said than done when your commanding officer is a ruthless and infuriatingly irresistible Cross-Redden. And as war rages between mods and those who aim to destroy them, Wren must decide just how far she's willing to go to protect herself and how much of the continent is worth saving. So yeah, this is the first book in the series, and the second one is called Broken Dove, which is again releasing on the 12th of May. Definitely looking forward to this one. and hoping that I'm able to read the first book before this one comes out. So yeah, again, I'm not going to read the description of Broken Dove because I haven't read book 1, so it would sort of not make sense to me. Wouldn't make sense to anyone who hasn't read it. So yeah, we're just gonna move on and talk about the third book that I'm looking forward to in the month of May, and that is called Light Wielder by Rachel Schneider. Again, I spoke about book 1 of this series. The series is called Fire and Metal. Book 1 was called Metal Slinger, and I bought it last month. It's part of my book haul video, and again, I haven't read book 1. What books have I read this year? It's so frustrating. I have so many books to read. Okay, so this is going to be Light Wielder. It's going to be book 2 of Fire and Metal. Again, I'm looking forward to it. I spoke a lot about Metal Slinger in my book haul video, so you guys can go check that out. But again, it's a romantasy, I think. Yeah, it's a romantasy. Yeah, again, I don't want to spoil anything for myself, so I'm not going to read too much about it. Just know that I'm looking forward to this book very, very much, and I am going to be reading book 1 this year. I have to read it. I have no choice. Okay, so the last book in the month of May that I'm looking forward to is called Realm Blade by Greenwich and Lennox. If you remember, I spoke about this series called the Espitrian Trilogy in a lot of my previous videos. I'll link them down below. But I spoke about this series, which is part of my 10 Before the End. And the first book was called Riftborn. The second was called Duskbound, and now the third part is coming out. It's called Realm Blade. Again, I've not read the series. I am going to be reading it this month, but I've heard a lot about this, and there's another series by the same author set in a different world. It's not interconnected, but I think there are some connections. It's called Ascended. That's also part of another series which has already come out. I want to read that too. But Realm Blade from this series comes out on the 26th of May. Very much looking forward to that. I'm not going to be talking too much about this series. I've spoken about it enough in my previous videos. So if you want to know what all it's about, please go check them out. Okay, so coming to the month of June, there's hardly anything that I'm really looking forward to in the month of June. I may have missed something, I don't know, but if there's something that's coming out in June and I haven't spoken about it, or if one of you have any favorite series that is coming out in the month of June, please do let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, we move on to July. And July, The Lion and the Deathless Dark, gonna be book 5 of the series called Crowns of Nyaxia, which again I have not read. Please don't kill me. The Lion and the Deathless Dark by Carissa Broadbent is book 5 in Crowns of Nyaxia. The first book is called The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. Again, I've heard so much about it and I have to read it. The second one is called Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. The third book is called The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. The fourth book is called The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk, which just came out last year, and that is the fourth book. Now the fifth book, which is going to come out in 2026, is called The Lion and the Deathless Dark. What the series is about, because I have no idea. I just know I've heard a lot about it on social media. I didn't really go much into it because I hate spoilers. I like discovering things on my own. I like reading about things on my own. I hate my books getting spoiled, so that's why I don't know anything about this. Carissa Broadbent's Crowns of Nyaxia is a popular romantasy series by Carissa Broadbent featuring vampire courts, deadly political intrigue, dark magic, and enemies to lovers romance centered around Araya, a human raised by a vampire king. As she navigates dangerous trials to win a favor from the goddess of death, forging a bond with a rival amidst warring vampire houses and godly meddling, exploring themes of love, sacrifice, and divine power in a world where even gods play games. Cute. It's set in the fantasy realm called Nyaxia, dominated by vampire kingdoms, their houses, and meddling, morally grey gods. Love that. Protagonist is Araya, a human adopted into a powerful vampire family, forced to prove her worth. Genre is dark fantasy romantasy, blending epic fantasy plots with intense romantic slow burn and high stakes. What's not to love? Themes include political tension, betrayal, forbidden love, sacrifice, and the struggle for power between mortals, vampires, and deities. I feel like buying the book 1 right now and reading it because it sounds so interesting, but it has to wait its turn because I have a long list of pending books that I need to read before that. So yeah, this is the first book that I'm looking forward to in the month of July. Coming to the second book. So there's another series that I've spoken about. It's called the Kindred's Curse Saga, and 3 books in the series are already out. So the first one is Spark of the Everflame, the second one is Glow of the Everflame, and third one is Heat of the Everflame. Now the fourth book, called The Burn of the Everflame, was supposed to be released in 2025. However, there was some unseen delays that happened, and now apparently it's going to come out in the month of July of 2026. Again, I don't think the author has confirmed that July is exactly the month, but there are some rumors floating around. So right now we're going to consider it part of July month. So The Kindred's Curse Saga by Penn Cole is a dark epic fantasy romance series, love that, about DM Bellator, a healer who uncovers secrets about her mother and gets pulled into the dangerous world of demigod royalty. Facing political intrigue, war, and a slow burn enemies to lovers romance with the crown's heir, love that. Key elements include divine magic, mythical creatures, betrayal, found family, and a strong female protagonist, my favorite, fighting oppression in a world ruled by cruel gods. So it's set in a world colonized by gods ruled by their offspring, the Descended. Themes: epic world building with magic, dragons, high stakes, a slow burn romance filled with angst and tension, royal espionage, betrayal, and rebellion. Love it. Features a distinct magical system and mystical creatures. Sounds very, very, very interesting. So I'm definitely going to be watching out for this book next year. Now, not much information is available on the second half of the year, so I'm probably going to club August to December in one block, and I think I'm going to be talking about 3 books that are releasing in the second half of the year. We'll probably do a more detailed video once later on in the year, but for now, the books that I'm looking forward to in the second half of 2026. The first one is called The Knave and the Moon by Rachel Gillig. It's part 2 of the current book that I'm reading, The Night and the Moth. And honestly, I am loving The Night and the Moth. I'm just not getting the time to read it, but whatever I've read till now, and it's not much, I have been really interested by it. It's really intriguing. I'm loving the banter between Rory and Sybil. That's one of my most favorite parts. I'm yet to, I think, delve deeper and really understand what is happening right now exactly, but as of now, whatever I've read, I have loved. So I'm definitely looking forward to part 2, which is called The Knave and the Moon. It's coming out on the 1st of September, and I am very excited. Okay, another book that I'm really looking forward to is book 3 of Fae and Alchemy. That's Quicksilver part 3, which part 1 and 2 I'm gonna be reading right now in the month of December. Again, I don't know much about that series, and I don't want to ruin it myself. I don't want any spoilers, but I'm just very excited for those books, so I'm sure I'm gonna love them, and I am really looking forward to part 3. I'll probably discuss more about it in more videos to come, but this is one of my very highly anticipated book releases in 2026. So the last book that I want to mention, it comes out on the 1st of December. Yeah, 1st of December in 2026. It's Evermore 2. It's the book I spoke about. The series is called Evermore, and it's book 2 in that series. The first part is called Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. I spoke about this book in my book haul and how it's based on a fanfiction, Hermione fanfic, and the plot sounds amazing, interesting. It's post the war where the bad side has won, and what happens post that, what happens to the FMC, and how she's taken prisoner. So again, I've already spoken at length about this book in that video, so I'm not going to be talking much about it. However, I just know I'm very excited for part 2. I am 100% going to read this book before then. I have a year to read it, so I will definitely be reading it, I think, much before then. But yeah, very excited for these books. These are just some of the books I'm excited for. There are obviously other genres and other books that I'm very excited for, which will release next year, but I think I'm going to do another video for this because otherwise this video would have been very long. Also, I'm sure more books as the year goes on. I will keep adding more books to this list. So this is not a final list whatsoever. This is just some of the books that came in mind right now when thinking about next year. So yeah, I'm waiting for 2026 we're gonna do so much reading. We're gonna have so much fun, and with that, we're gonna end this video here. My next few videos coming up are really exciting ones, so please keep a lookout for that. And for now, happy reading. I'll see you for my next video. Bye.